Hi, everybody, and welcome to the monthly Zoom call. My name is Marie-France Garon. We have our co-host here, Heather Billing, with us today, and we are going to talk all about the food on this call today. So welcome, first of all, to all the people here, especially to our new people. There's quite a few just starting brand new, so welcome. And let me just say just a little bit about the program before we get into everything. So it's the 5-day Slimdown Kickstart program, and we recommend some amazing nutritional supplements that will support the weight loss, support your gut health, give you a lot of energy as well. So they are very, very important through the program. And we have also this booklet that's got 34 pages. So it's got lots and lots and lots of information in this booklet. It's got food lists, and it's got a little bit of a protocol about the fasting as well. And where can you find this booklet? It's in our private Facebook group for the 5-day Slimdown Kickstart program. What you need to do in order to be in that Facebook group, but you need to let us know, first of all, and maybe organize to get your product, or we can help you with that as well. And then we will invite you to the Facebook group, and that's where you're going to have access to this whole booklet and to see all of the information here. Now, I'd like to mention that we started early this year with this program in January. And when we did our first 5 days, we had 16 people joining with us. And we altogether lost 34 kilos, 75 pounds in 5 days. So that was very exciting. But of course, since then, there's many, many more people that have joined, and there's a lot more results as well. And this is all shared also in the Facebook group. All of the different testimonial and people having success, you will be able to see all of that in our Facebook group. So let me just get back to here and start this topic for today. We're going to talk all about the food. And what I like to mention a little bit about today is that the 5-day Slimdown Kickstart is really a Kickstart program. So it is important to follow the food list when we get started, but that's why it's called 5 days. It's because we don't stay with this for forever. We also have a follow-up program, which is called the Slim Down for Life. And today we're going to talk a little bit about varying your food a little bit, and how to maybe switch between the Slim Down for Life and the 5-day Kickstart, because it really helps. You know, some people, maybe sometimes we hear that, you know, like maybe after so long, the weight is a bit plateauing. And that's why it is good to vary a little bit. So the Slim Down for Life, if some people have been here for a long time, before we used to call it the maintenance, but really it is not maintenance, because the Slim Down for Life is a way of life, and it's the thing that we can continue to do forever, and we can continue to drop the weight with the Slim Down for Life, and maybe alternate between the 5-day Kickstart and the Slim Down for Life. Now, I'll pass it over to you, Heather, and I know you have a lot that you want to share about all this. So over to you, please, Heather.
Thank you, Marie-France. And just to add to what you were saying, it really comes down to the fact, and this is with anything, not just our program, this is with life, but when we're doing things the same day in, day out, we get our bodies into a comfort zone. And that then leads us to just generally, we're not growing, but we're not, you know, we're sort of just sitting there, really. So what you actually mentioned about people may find that they hit a bit of a plateau, or they just aren't getting the results that they got initially, by switching things up, it just kind of changes things for the body, and it sort of makes everything stand to attention and go, hey, what's going on here? Oh, okay, I can't just be on autopilot. I need to do things a little bit differently. And so that often can just, that adjustment, as you say, in and out of between the two eating styles can sometimes just make the difference and get you to that next step, so to speak. So that's what we want to encourage people today to just look at. If you have been doing the 5 days over and over and over, you can switch it up. You're not doing anything wrong with that. And you may find that you then end up getting better results when you go back again to the 5 days. So something to look at, make it work for you with your system. I know like people have gone on holidays and so they haven't been doing the 5 day, they've been doing more the lifestyle side of it, and are finding, of course, that they are able to maintain, which is how it is supposed to be, and it's how it's supposed to work. So it is very exciting. But getting to the food side of it, so we've talked a lot in our videos, and hopefully you've seen them all, about the benefits of fasting, of course, and how healing it is for the body. But today we actually want to talk about how beneficial the food we eat is for our body and how healing that can be as well. When we're eating the right kinds of foods, the right types of foods that our body can use and get the nutrients out of, and that's, you know, can be an amazing thing for our body, and that's what we want to talk about today. Of course, we're talking about as natural as possible, organic where possible, so that you don't have to deal with the pesticides, clean meats wherever possible. Like if you're able to buy direct from farmers, or you're able to talk to your butcher and find out where the meat is coming from, then you have a lot more idea of whether or not the animals have been given hormones, have been given antibiotics. There's all these kind of things that go into our food industry that we do need to become aware of, because it does affect our health. If you think about whatever is being put into the protein that we're eating or onto the plants that we're eating, our body then has to deal with that. So try and, you know, eat as clean as possible. Obviously, you know, how your budget allows for it. For those who can grow their own food, wow. I'm so envious. I mean, we can all grow food, you know, to some extent. Obviously, Marie-France, I know you're growing some herbs at the moment.
Yep.
We really do need to look at the quality of the food, so that what we are eating is the good stuff that our body can use. Now, also, we just want to mention as well, obviously, there will be things that will come in a packet, things we buy from the supermarket, that will have a food label on them. And so we wanted to just share a little bit about food labels and how important it is to be one of these weird people in the supermarket that's picking up jars, bottles, packets, and actually looking at the ingredient list on the back of them. Because unfortunately, the food industry doesn't have our best interests at heart. They're not making everything to be healthy for us so that we can live long, healthy lives. A lot of it is based on how it tastes and how often that we will continue to consume their product because it tastes so yummy. So when you're looking at an ingredient list on something, they're listed in order of quantity. So the very first thing that's listed there'll be the most of that in that particular product. And as you look through the list, you know, look for little things that, you know, if there's words on there you can't pronounce, then possibly that's a chemical that you want to avoid. Because otherwise they would have whatever its, you know, natural name is. But also something to be really careful about is natural flavours, because that is a category that the food industry can put a lot of ingredients under. And it's not really policed or monitored. So even though you might look at something and you say, oh, natural flavours, oh, that sounds like it's healthy.
Yeah.
Just be aware that maybe if it was a natural flavour, why aren't they actually saying vanilla Or why aren't they saying strawberry? Like, why aren't they actually saying what that natural flavour is? So that's something to be aware of. I know some people who are very committed to this, they actually email the food company and say, can you please tell me what your natural flavours are, to get an idea of what it is they're eating. So you don't have to be that extreme, but you can be, because it is interesting to actually find out. But if you're in doubt, well then, don't eat it. An apple doesn't come with a food label. So, but, we realise that there are foods that you're going to eat. So just be aware of those kind of things. Look at the labels, and anything with artificial sweeteners, we want to avoid. Anything that's low fat, we want to avoid that as well, because we want the good, healthy, real fat, because it makes such a difference to our body. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But we were sold so many years ago this whole low-fat diet because, it was supposed to be the next best thing. But in actual fact, it has been quite a devastating blow to everyone's health, because we need the good, healthy fats in our diet. So that's just something else to look out for.
And Heather, on that, also anything that says low fat, they will add more chemicals or extra sugars or extra other thing to make it taste nice. Because isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, because they've taken the goodness out of it. So then it tastes rubbish. So then they're like, oh, okay, exactly. We'll put more sugar flavour so that it actually tastes decent. People think it's low fat, and so it's actually healthy. But the other stuff they've added in has made it even more unhealthy. So, just really be aware that unfortunately food companies, the majority of them, don't have our best interests at heart. They're about profit, and they're about having you be addicted to things, to flavours, to tastes, so that you'll continue to purchase their product. If we're being really honest, which we want to be, because we want you to be as healthy as possible, just some things to be aware of.
Yeah.
So also we want to talk to you about combining different types of food groups together to give you the best benefits when you are eating. So did you want to start on that, Marie-France, with the fibre?
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the food list that it's in the guide. So for those who are just joining, today we're talking about the difference a little bit between the 5-day Kickstart program and the Slimdown for Life, and encouraging to vary a little bit in between the two different. So there's food lists in the guide here. There's 3 pages of food for the 5-day Slimdown, and there's also an extra page when you go on your day on the Slimdown for Life. So there's an extra page of different food that you can have. And so we're encouraging people to alternate between, or of course, also we understand that sometimes people, I want to lose as much as fast as possible, and I'm committed to this, and I want to stay focused, etc. And it's great. And so that's why it is good to change just a little bit, just maybe for just 2 days for the weekend, go onto the Slimdown for Life list and follow that list, and then start the Kickstart again, because that's why it's called Kickstart. It's a little bit more strict in the food choice, but it is important when we go on the 5-day Kickstart that we really stick to this, because it's the Kickstart again, and then change for the Slimdown for Life, which is a way of losing some weight still. We can continue to drop some weight very much when we're on the 5-day Slimdown, and we can start doing a Kickstart. We can start every week, or we can start twice a month, or we can start once a month. But when you start on your Kickstart, on your 5-day Kickstart, stick to that list. And that takes me to talk about the fruit. It's on the first page, and there's hardly anything. In the fruit list, there's tomato, avocado, we have olives, and we have capers. We have also lime and lemon, just a little squeeze. So really, pretty much that means no fruit. But we all know that fruit is very healthy and very good for you and full of antioxidant and vitamin. And that's why when you swap over to the Slim Down for Life, then you can then add on a little bit of fruit. We say 1 piece of fruit, if it's an apple, just a whole fruit, or 1 cup of berries on the 5-day Slim Down. Now, we all love our fruit, so that's why we really encourage you to swap over the program and get back to your 5-day Slim Down. So Heather, you want to say more about the fruit?
Yes, the reason, I guess, why we don't have fruit in our first 5-day kickstart is because it does raise our glucose levels, when we have fruit, obviously. So what we're trying to achieve in that 5 days is to keep the peaks lower because whatever goes up has to come down, and the higher it goes up, the longer it takes for it to come down. So, I'm sure we've all heard, and we might have even said it ourselves, I really need to eat something because I feel my blood sugar is low. You just feel a bit wonky and a bit off. And so generally, when we eat something, well, then we feel better because our glucose, our blood sugar has risen. So the reason with the fruit, it's obviously it's healthy and all that sort of thing, but it does spike it a bit. So that's why for those first 5 days, we're suggesting that it's better to avoid it. And then, as Marie-France said, once you start adding some of the other foods from the lifestyle side of the program, then fruit comes back into it. And we're also aware too that people rely on fruit for their digestive system and all of that as well to keep things moving. So that's why if you're alternating between the two, you're not off fruit forever, as an example. So just a little bit there on the fruit. But what we also want to talk about too is just when we look at how we combine the food that we eat. So we're focused on this program with a low carb sort of base, as you probably can see from the food list. There's hardly anything that's got carbs. Carbs are coming in our fruit and in our vegetables, which are, nature's carbs. So the body knows what to do with nature's carbs, as opposed to man-made carbs, which is your cakes and your cookies and all those sort of things, which are just full of sugar. So when we actually look at combining the different types of foods that we're eating, it can really make a difference when we have different macronutrients together. So as an example, if you have a meal and you have like a piece of steak or chicken, you have your, nice veggies, you might have some avocado or you might have cooked the veggies in one of the oils, which are the good oil list as opposed to the bad oil list. So you're getting your fats as well. You can also, like, for example, if you're having a piece of steak, you can put some extra butter on your steak for getting in the good fats. But if you've got your plate of food, if you actually eat your veggies or your salad first, so the fibrous part of what you're eating first, then that is the first thing that obviously hits the digestive tract and, all the good microbiome and everything that you have in your stomach. And also those types of food are very easy to break down. So then you can follow it with your protein. If you actually eat your protein first, as you can imagine, it sort of is a longer thing to break down, and so it kind of sits in there, shall we say, and then all that fibre and the stuff that is easy to be broken down sits on top, and then that can cause gas and bloating because it's kind of just sitting there and it can't move until the protein has been digested. And also when you're eating in that way, as opposed to just having a carb by itself, if you have your fibre and your carb, your blood sugar doesn't rise as high. So it stays a lot more stable, which is very good. Protein just by itself as well, it doesn't cause the blood sugar to rise very much either. And fat is one of the best things to not have hardly any raise in your blood sugar, believe it or not. So all those people that villainized fat back whenever they did didn't actually understand how, in fact, it was so good for our health. And just getting back to fat as well, our brain is made up of so much fat, and so by eating fat we feed our brain as well. So just a few thoughts there on how we actually eat our food and the combination of things and how that can make a difference.
Yes, and talking about fat, what I encourage you to do, because that was a question that came up from someone, I can't remember who that is, but since we don't have the fruit in the first 5 days, and so some people was a little bit worried about constipation, and that could happen also. And so what I suggest is to do what we do here in every morning. We break our fast with olive oil and lemon in a little shot glass, and just like 15 ml of olive oil, a squeeze of lemon in there, and just have that. First of all, it's very delicious. I have to say, it sounds weird maybe for some people to think I'm going to drink olive oil. But when you do that on empty stomach, it prepares the whole digestive system for the whole day, and obviously lubricate everything inside. And the lemon, of course, we know it's an antioxidant, and it's so good for you as well. Alkalines your body and heals your gut. And so we love doing that. And what is suggested is you have your shot of olive oil with lemon, and just drink, if you can have warm water or just water, but I'm drinking then warm water to just send it down all the way, and wait another 20 30 minutes to before we eat our food. So that's the first thing to break the fast. And I just love this. It feels so good. And so it's a good way to start the day and to break the fast in the morning. Now, just wanted to bring that other list of the Slim Down for Life. So it says here that we can have the fruit, but also there's a section that we can have some grains in there too. So in moderation, of course, but hey, the sweet potato, it's so healthy, so good for you. So yes, please have the sweet potato on the Slim Down for Life. And some of the grains, of course, the wild rice would be the best rice to have, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely. Just on that, Marie-France, if I can explain why the wild rice. So I've sort of known, of course, and we're learning so much, but I've known for a while that rice is a questionable thing because of the way that it's grown. And there's so many studies now that show that rice contains arsenic, which, is not ideal. And so, it was kind of every sort of time I thought about rice, I was like, and we've heard that brown rice is better for you because, it's not as processed. And so one of the up-to-date studies I heard the other day was that white rice, it has no fiber. So really it, spikes your blood sugar. Doesn't do anything really for you except fill you up.
yeah.
Brown rice, because it does still have that husk on it, that's where the arsenic is, right? So we were thinking, we're being healthy with eating the brown rice. So that's why it's actually considered that the wild rice is your best option when you have rice. Now, I thought once upon a time I used to be able to get that just at my local supermarket, and I went looking for it yesterday and they don't have it anymore. So obviously it's not something that sells very much of, so they've decided not to stock it. So I'll continue looking for it. But I remember in the past that I used to buy it, I just grab it off the shelf. So it might be something that you do have to look for. Maybe you have to go to your health food store, or more of a, you know, like a Harris Farm or a more health sort of, you know, place where that they're actually looking to, you know, keep you healthy, I suppose, opposed to the supermarket.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to explain why we're suggesting that and not just your brown rice. The other one that's good as well is quinoa, because it is a good grain for you to have, but it's also got protein in it. So that is another one. Like if you're sort of looking, well, normally I'd like to, you know, have rice with this or something, well, then the quinoa is another one that is a good option as well.
Yeah, I love quinoa. It's so delicious, so nice. Leanne here was saying, I was wondering about the sweet potato. Yeah, they are so good for you. And of course, but we put them in the part of the Slimdown for Life. So when you do your 5-day kickstart, no sweet potato, but on the Slimdown for Life, yes, have them. Really encourage them. What do you know about sweet potato? Is there any extra information about them, Heather?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sweet potato, of course. Silly question. So sweet potato is considered a superfood. So it is definitely something that is great for you to eat. And the reason it is better than the white potato is that it does raise your blood sugar less and a lot slower as well. So that's why it is good. But the other thing, of course, is, as people know, I'm passionate about hormones. The sweet potato in particular is so good for helping to bring more progesterone into the body.
Oh.
So we've talked about not fasting the week before you get your period, because progesterone doesn't like fasting and progesterone likes more carbs. And so sweet potato is one of those things, and your grains, etc., the healthy grains that you would be eating in that week before you actually get your period, because we want to encourage the progesterone to come in, because it's when the progesterone is at the highest that then your cycle starts. So sweet potato is a wonderful thing to include. And for those who aren't having a cycle as well, everybody, well, men not so much, but every woman needs progesterone regardless of what age you're at. And as you're, you know, menopausal, postmenopausal, your progesterone obviously is, you know, you're not getting a cycle, so it's very low, and in some cases non-existent. So things like sweet potato that actually encourage progesterone are really, really good to have. So
Let's go for the sweet potato. I love it. It's just, you know, I do mash, I do all sorts of things. You can make them in like a frittata, or, you know, like roasted with other vegetable. It's just so delicious. Yeah, very
now,
nice.
also just on another note, Marie-France, because we're not totally against snacks, but there are companies now coming out with sweet potato chips that are cooked in avocado oil.
Yeah.
So that is something that you could eat as a treat. Now, I just encourage you again, we talked about looking at food labels, because again, I was looking at a packet yesterday that were cooked in avocado oil. And when I actually looked at the back of it, it had all these flavour enhancers, but it also had avocado/canola oil.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So
yeah.
So I decided that I would not purchase them, but I did find another packet which was just the sweet potato and the avocado oil and salt. You know, so there's things to be aware of, that if you feel like having a little bit of a treat, if you, as much as possible, see how it can fit into the food list and go, okay, that is something that I can have. So
well, you can make your own homemade chips, and with the sweet potato, and they recommend to cook them in ghee.
oh, yum.
Would that be? Yes,
Oh, yum.
I'm about to try that. So maybe sometimes I can show you and let you know how that goes, because I will certainly try that very much.
Yeah,
So,
that would
hey,
be so buttery and sweet. It would be amazing.
yeah, yes, exactly. So just one more thing, and maybe Steve will ask you if you can share just a little bit as well. We have a brand new video that was just posted about an hour ago that we did, Heather and I, about the length of time of your fasting. We know that in our booklet, we recommend the 16-8. So you're fasting for 16 hours if you can. And then you eat for 8 hours. But we hear about all the different variation of the length of fast. And so it's another great idea to vary a little bit, but it explains it all to you in that video that's posted in the Facebook group. So you better, go and watch it. It's only about 28 minutes or so, something like that. So you can go and have a look at this information. Very, very, very good information there. Now, can we hear from you, Steve? Tell us about your results you had so far on the program, and maybe some other health benefits that you found or that you've noticed since you started, because you started in early February, I think, or end of January.
Yes, it was middle February, I think.
Okay. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So initially, I was a little bit slow to start, but I think I did 3 Kickstart programs in a row,
Yeah.
and the weight just dropped. I lost 7 kilos over that period of time,
Wow.
which was just fantastic. And the other benefit is my blood pressure came down. I had quite high blood pressure. It was at some point, it was quite a worry, but it's now come down way, way, way down, and
Wow.
is in the normal range. And in fact, I went to see the doctor yesterday. He said it's all really good. So everything's working. So
Wow.
that was one of the side benefits. And the other thing I wanted to mention is you talked about using ghee. I barbecued a steak using ghee, and oh my goodness, is that beautiful?
Oh,
Just
yes.
so nice.
And
I steered away from using ghee before, but now I'm hooked.
exactly,
Yeah.
Steve. Weren't we so brainwashed about the fat was bad for you? We all, I remember, or if you do remember, because we've known each other for that long, forever, I've been putting cream in my coffee.
Hmm.
And I could just hear them say, oh, well, if she's trying to lose weight and she's putting fat,
Yeah.
and because we were brainwashed to say to go for the low fat. But no, not at all. This is not, fat doesn't make you fat. We can
No.
enjoy the good fat, except, of course, there's another video that we did on that. It's a whole information that's there in the group. Yeah, there are some fats that are not so good, all the seed oils that are to be avoided, but ghee and butter and olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, they're all so good for you, and we can have just about as much as we'd like. So
Mm.
yeah, no
Yep.
Yeah.
limits.
I heard a chef talk a little while ago, and he said fat is where the flavor is.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, and so it makes sense when you get something that's no fat, but they have to put other stuff in to increase the flavor.
Yeah.
So why not have it in there to start with?
Exactly. And for those that might not know me so well, I'm French Canadian, so it's the French heritage. And anything you do, you cook whatever, anything in the pan, take it off, throw in some cream, here's your sauce. Like we have sauces all the time, but it's always made with cream. So delicious, so nice,
Yum.
and so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, add some cream in your soup as well, and you know, all the good fats. So delicious. That's where the flavor is, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so and anything else to share here? Anybody wants to say something, or is there a question? Okay, well, we're gonna wrap up this call. Thank you so much for being here with you today, and thank you, Heather, again for the amazing information. Very, very valuable. And thank you, Steve, for sharing with us today as well. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for being here, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Have a good day. It's
Bye.
good night from me. It's nearly 9 p.m. So bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.